Hello and welcome to the AAU TV Mid-Week News, and we are live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities in Accra, Ghana. My name is Lydia Nyame. With me are
Jimai Madaladam Duche.
And my name is Ajaman Otredako.
And now the headlines on higher education. Education activists call to halt financial exclusions of university students. And again, advance science in Africa through open access journals.
And in our health news, African Union secures about 300 million COVID-19 vaccines. And also Moderna jump given green light by European Medicine Agency.
In our science and technology news, 2021 promises to be a great year with massive invasion of robotics and artificial intelligence in our operations. I must say we're looking so great. This is a new year, and I mean, great looks from you, and all kind courtesy to GTP Textiles Ghana Limited. And for you watching us, kindly visit our social media platforms on Facebook and YouTube, the Association of African Investors, for more information. And also, please join the group on Facebook, AAU TV Mid-Week News, for more of our exclusive news. Don't go anywhere, we're bringing more news after this quick break.
And Safety Corner, charging up goes a long way. Strengthen your immune system. Your immune system needs all the help it can get. Eat well, stay hydrated. Hands pick up a lot. Avoid touching your face. Your well-being is in your hands. Sanitize regularly. Stay safe. GTB, timeless.
Welcome back from the break. And education activists and student unions have called on South African universities to halt academic and financial exclusions of students. Education activist Hendrik Makanita said universities should find a way to use their reserve to cater for academically deserving students with their debt and assist those who did not do well academically to make necessary arrangements.
A group of University of Johannesburg students gathered at the Kingsway campus to demonstrate against financial exclusion. The students have not been able to register because their funding from the National Student Financial Aid Scheme does not adequately cover the costs of their studies.
Neither the department nor NSFAS have provided us with enough funding for students.
They're calling on the university to suspend registration until the matter is resolved.
We know that the university, what they will do is to actually let people register until they reach the number that they want. After reaching the number of the one, they say those ones who are outside, we can't do anything about it.
The University of Johannesburg says it will not suspend the registration of 49,000 students just to accommodate a handful of those who have been unable to register due to funding issues. However, the demonstrating students say it is unfair that their peers are able to register while they run the risk of not being placed in the 2014 academic year. They have vowed to intensify their protest until their demands are met. Sydney King, Eyewitness News, Kingsway Campus, UJ.
Now, these are very serious accusations coming from South African education activists and student union. But why are they calling on university management to halt financial exclusions of university students?
Okay, I think one major reason I'll talk about is that students are or were doing well academically before COVID-19 came around, and the existence of COVID-19 has had great effect on the economy or income or financiers of the students. So most parents have lost their jobs, and they are not being able to actually pay the fees of the students, and it is one major factor to which I think the students are going for this force. And also, you know, COVID-19 has also affected our academic performance massively because there was lockdown, there were no interaction, face-to-face learning, and nothing serious was going on. So right now it's making also students find it difficult to also, you know, adjust to seriousness right now. Yeah,
notwithstanding to what Jemima mentioned, you know, COVID-19 indeed really brought out the unpreparedness of African higher education institutions in terms of their racial mobilization, quality assurance, technology-wise ability. And this trickled down, cascaded into the fact that now universities are unable to do what they used to do those many years ago because of COVID-19. Resources, mobilization had fallen, budgets had fallen. The case of University of Nairobi, where the Kenyan government cut down some of the benefit or some support to the universities, that also affected the universities in paying and also giving out scholarships. These are all prevailing issues that we experienced last year. Now, in this year, 2021, universities will want to leverage on that little or that remaining funds to work with. So, would they be able to do the things they used to do before 2020 or 2020 or the years back? Definitely not. Certainly not to that same capability. However, student activists at the University of Johannesburg are asking or calling on that the university shouldn't exclude these students financially. There is a need for them to still find ways and means to fall on their reserves and help these students who are well-to-do with some who are brilliant academically and can't fund their higher education with some support. So we cushion ourselves, even to the ones who are doing very well. These students need support.
That's true. You know, I must chip it in that as it stands now, if you look at the COVID infections, South Africa is the country that has been affected by COVID the most. So it makes perfect sense that this particular call is coming from South Africans because they've basically been on lockdown the whole of 2020, which has brought down a whole lot of things. Because, I mean, if you talk to economists, they will tell you how bad pandemics like this affects the economy of a country. So I think this makes a lot of sense.
No, statistics gives that 25% of students in South Africa leave school, tertiary education, because of financial
That is even
exclusion.
before COVID. So now imagine with this pandemic.
100,000 students. And if you lose 100,000 students because of financial exclusion, there's something we're not to play with. So I think there's a need for the universities to fall on their reserves and find ways to support the students.
That's very true. Researchers and scholars want publishers to increase the volume of available free access journals to boost research and knowledge production during the COVID-19 pandemic. This, they say, will particularly benefit poor institutions and burden scientists from low-income countries.
RSC Advances is the world's largest chemistry journal. In 2017, we converted to an open access journal. Here's why. More and more authors are publishing open access, and the landscape for open access publishing is evolving. The range of open access publishing options needs to grow and give authors more choice over where to publish their research. RSC Advances has achieved great success with submissions from more than 90 countries worldwide, millions of article downloads, and high-quality novel research from the cutting edge in chemical science. Since flipping to OA, the journal's 55% rejection rate has remained stable. In 2011, we launched with 2-year free access period as a subscription journal. In 2013, we made the journal accessible through individual subscription or RSC Gold package. In 2016, we announced that we were converting to open access. As of 2017, the journal is no longer part of RSC Gold, and the content is freely accessible to everyone. We converted to an open access journal to give researchers free access to a broad scope of high-quality work, make the research we publish more visible, positively influence the future of OA publishing, demonstrate that OA publishing can be both affordable and sustainable, with quality research at its heart. We offer industry-standard Creative Commons licensing. The variety and international scope of submissions, stable acceptance rates, and level of usage shows that RSC Advances is still the high-quality, impactful journal it always set out to be.
Great news right there, advancing science through open access journals. But I want to find out the reasons why these open access policies is believed to be a way to advance science in African universities.
Yeah, absolutely. I think knowledge sharing is the fundamental, the basis for advancing every economy. And, you know, we realize that in Africa, the top journals, the prestigious and highly reputable journals, takes so much, it's so expensive to publish on these sites, and also to get information for research. This is a problem. So if we really want to make a headway in assisting very poor institutions and also countries or some researchers or scientists, we need to open up these journal systems for them to get information at a low cost or free, perhaps a free policy or a free access policy that we're all fighting for, so that they can be able to get information to do research with. To ease, and just first of all, to ease them of the cost of acquiring information, we can use the free access policy to open or make the doorway for them to get information to work with.
That's very great. I believe in ensuring this happens, government plays a very important role in it. So Jemima, can you run us through the role of the government in ensuring open access journals in African universities?
One factor I think the government should actually work on is to create budgets for the scientists. You know, they are very important. Right now we are going technological. Right now we are developing. We need them to help in our development. So there should be funds made available for their use. I think that is the most important thing.
That is great.
Yeah, more importantly, I mean, they are asking for some items or some key things. One of which, led by Professor Agnes Benangwaho, the Vice Chancellor of the University, Global University of Health and Equity in Rwanda, says that we need free access policy for these journals. Waiver, a good waiver on the fee to publish on these sites is very important, because you can do your research, but where to put it to get that attention or for someone to see it and get it is very important. We have good researchers, good findings, which are not on these reputable journals or not published with these journals, and therefore we don't see it. It's not recognized. So how do we get opportunity to now publish with these prestigious journals so that they could be seen and implemented? That's one thing. And two, the access to the knowledge is very important, because before we can get the finding out there, we need knowledge to work with and feed on. So how to also get these information is very important, and at what cost. Some of these journals are very expensive to buy information and work with. If we can have a very strong free access policy over a very long period of time, then we can say we're making a headway to get information and work with to do your study.
You know, most publishers have turned their journals into open access since COVID-19 emerged. But panelists at the global conference did mention that they would want this temporary waiver extended beyond 2021. What could possibly be the reasons?
Well, I think precisely just to give enough time, because getting a good research and advancing in science and research takes so much time to do it. So if we really given a room for an open access journal to get information on, then I think it should be quite extended, so we could have enough time to work with. So I think it should even go beyond 2021, because during COVID-19, yes, now because we saw the need for us to share information and how uncomfortable it was or how hard things were, we had to now loosen up the fees. But now we're seeing the need that open access, knowledge sharing at a low cost is the way to go to advance science in Africa and beyond.
That's true. I mean, it surprises me a lot why it took a long time for people to realize that. I mean, there was actually COVID that was basically the eye-opener for them. If it hadn't been for COVID, open access would have been something.
COVID has been an open eye-opener for so many things. And I think on this note, we can have so many up-and-coming researchers, or we can have many people inspired to do research, because you have a place to get information at low cost.
Therefore, it should be extended beyond 2021.
Okay. Moving on to our health news, the African Union secured almost 300 million COVID-19 vaccine doses for the continent, a step towards starting the complex task of inoculating more than 1.2 billion people with limited logistics and financial resources. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is also the AU chairman, is expected to give more detail on the vaccine on Wednesday, according to Ahmed Well Omar, director of the African Centers of Disease and Prevention.
African Union announced on Wednesday that it had secured 270 million COVID-19 vaccine doses for the continent in a deal that it says will benefit nations unable to finance their immunization campaigns. The doses will be supplied by Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson, and will complement the vaccines secured via COVAX, the globally pooled vaccine procurement and distribution effort. The vaccine doses will be made available throughout the year, with 50 million supplied between April and June. With more than 1.2 billion inhabitants, the African continent has only registered 75,000 COVID-related fatalities since the beginning of the pandemic, compared to 2 million COVID-related deaths recorded worldwide.
Great news. The African Union has actually secured these vaccines, but how will these vaccines be shared among a continent with a population of 1.2 billion?
You know, in terms of distribution, anybody that knows that the current AU chairperson is a South African president would think they would be looked at first. But that's just by the way. I must say that there are countries with higher populations than others within our continent. I mean, Nigeria alone has a population of 300 million. That's basically the total number of vaccines available for all AU member states. So personally, I think in sharing it, AU should look at countries with higher COVID-19 cases. I mean, so a country like South Africa has over 1 million cases, followed by Morocco. Nigeria is in the top 5, I think. A lot of countries have huge cases. I mean, it will surprise you that some African countries, as of now, don't even have 600 cases. So if you are sharing the vaccines, I think it should be shared according to what country needs it the most. Because obviously, a country that has 1 million cases would need it more than a country that has less than 1,000 cases. So that's what I think.
Well, notwithstanding what they're saying, well, irrespective of whatever method will be adopted to share the vaccines, the most important thing here is that vaccines get delivered. And according to the story, these vaccines have been acquired, all right, but have not been delivered yet. So we're looking forward to, by the end of March, according to the Deputy Director of the CDC, that by the end of March, we would be delivering these vaccines. But what happens from now to then? We start thinking or deliberating how much vaccines should we apportion to this country. 300 million vaccines for 1.2 billion people in 55 countries is something that we must really be.
Doesn't that baffle you that, I mean, the vaccine came in a few days ago, let's say a week ago, and AU is going to wait till the ending of March to be able to circulate it. I mean, this is a vaccine that is there. Don't you think the number of time it is taken is too long?
It's too long to be distributed.
Yeah, I have no idea what's keeping them from that, but I think there are some processes that we need to follow. I think that was disclosed, not disclosed in the statement he gave. Ogwell gave Umar gave during his press conference, but the most important thing is that the giant step, the bold step, it's a great step in the right direction for the African Union, because we once said when the European Commission ordered for these vaccines ahead of time, where last December, we were confident that, we were looking forward that also the African Union was to take the same direction. And yes, we have to, but yes, we are a bit lagged behind when it comes to implementation, because
that's true.
The first jab was taken in the UK, and then we saw that the rest taking over in Europe, and then the USA, and Africa is we're still ready, looking forward to just have the jabs all over, even though South Africa has theirs going on at the moment because they had their own vaccine, and I think we should be seeing these actions more and more, see how it works in our continent.
That's great.
But then how would the distribution affect those countries who have already procured vaccines?
The mystical thing here is that we should understand that some countries had made their own provisions or arrangements to acquire or procure vaccines ahead of time. Ghana, which is one of the countries, South Africa, and some other countries in Africa who have made that effort to call in these vaccines. However, the African Union is a mother body for the entire African continent, and therefore I don't think perhaps we want to consider what your country has done separately to what we have acquired for the continent. But however, irrespective of whatever happens, I believe that we still have enough vaccines to take care of every infected person in Africa, so COVID-19 is concerned.
Yeah. Moving on, the EU's medicine regulator on Wednesday recommended authorizing a second coronavirus vaccine developed by biotechnology company Moderna. Many hope that with multiple vaccines authorized in the EU, those who are vulnerable to the disease will be vaccinated more quickly.
The EU has approved Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. Approval by the European Medicines Agency marks the second regulatory green light for the shot. It's already been given the go-ahead by US authorities. In clinical trials, the vaccine proved around 95% effective at preventing illness. It was not found to cause any serious safety issues. Experts say the US firm's product should also be effective against the mutated variant of the virus found in the UK. Some officials in EU member states have criticised the EMA for being slow to grant approvals. Now the Moderna offering is the second vaccine it's okayed. Hundreds of thousands of Europeans have already received a rival inoculation produced by Pfizer and BioNTech. In the UK, regulators have also approved a version developed by AstraZeneca and the University of Oxford. On Wednesday, the Netherlands became one of the last places in the EU to start conducting vaccinations. Its first injection went to a 39-year-old care home nurse.
Why must the Moderna jump at go further scrutiny before it is approved by its member states, even though it has been given the green light?
Yeah, you know, it's a good thing. Let me say that the European Commission and the European Union has done so well in terms of procuring vaccines, enough of them for the bloc. But, you know, seriously, considering the case right now, it is very terrible in Europe when it comes to COVID-19 and its effect. And there's a need for much more reliable, effective, and efficient vaccines. But these vaccines, perhaps, according to the statements, we realize that these vaccines have some side effects that affect those who receive it.
I mean, some of these side effects are chills, tiredness, headache, fever. It has a lot.
Yes, and these are reasons why we need to further investigate to see how reliable these vaccines are to the health of the receiver at the end or for a very long period of time. Because we need your life beyond COVID-19. It's very important.
You know, I want to chip in this, that report says doctors in Norway are investigating the death of 23 elderly persons who had received the Pfizer vaccine. I mean, these are some of the reasons why I think the Moderna vaccine should equally go under a lot of scrutiny, because imagine a fit person taking in a vaccine and then ending up dead. It is quite sad. It is very, very sad. So these vaccines should go under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of tests should be run to make sure that this would not happen should someone else take the Moderna vaccine. Okay.
But if indeed the Moderna jab has been proven to be more efficient and easier to handle than the Pfizer, why then do we keep producing the Pfizer vaccines?
So, you know, these are all reputable manufacturers of vaccines. The Pfizer BioNTech was the first vaccine that we saw, and then the Moderna, and then we saw the one the one from Oxford, and the whole many.
Johnson & Johnson. Those that hasn't been approved.
These are all manufacturers who we know to be into the vaccine production. But look at the reputation, their reputation that they have. We think that we need to get to the bottom of this to see how better these vaccines could save lives. Because what point would it make? What is an effective and efficient vaccine? If after you receive this vaccine, you begin to now respond to different treatment conditions that normally you were not exposed to, then
what's really the importance of the vaccine?
Yeah, so it's very important that we find the best out of these vaccines.
Don't go anywhere as we bring you science and technology news after this short break.
Welcome to GTP Health and Safety Corner. Charging up goes a long way. Strengthen your immune system. Your immune system needs all the help it can get. Eat well, stay hydrated. Hands pick up a lot. Avoid touching your face. Your well-being is in your hands. Sanitize regularly. Stay safe. GTB, timeless.
You're welcome to the Science and Technology Corner, and more robots will increasingly surround us in 2021. Yeah, that's surprising. We have drones delivering objects, blood, and all stuff things. Your refrigerator telling you how old your items are in the refrigerator, and a whole lot. And this is the world we find ourselves in this year.
This year, before the global COVID pandemic, robotic exhibitions all over the world gathered a record number of participants, and it's not just that. The trend of robotics and automation of all stages of production and business processes is a key global trend in technology development. And yes, robots will take away our usual work. Machines are beginning to do better than humans with many tasks, from window cleaning to resource management. Many whose work involves routine tasks will have to change jobs before the end of the decade. But the machines that will drive us out of work need to communicate with each other. So the second most important trend is the Internet of Things, and its implementation will require the full development of 5G networks, which will automatically become a trend. The year 2020 is likely to be the year when 5G will be significantly expanded and made available in many countries. Stable connectivity and ultra-fast speeds will allow gadgets, robots, and autonomous vehicles to collect and transmit more data than ever before, leading to advances in the Internet of Things. The next technology that's changing the world and business is 3D printing. It can print a coffee cup, a house, or a bionic prosthesis. But that's not all. 3D printing is also developing in bioengineering. By the end of the decade, we will probably be able to print not only individual organs, but also our full copy. But we'll be back by 2020. What kind of developments will smart columns get in? Judging by the decline in cost of Amazon and Google's voice assistants, as they don't generate much income, the only way to make millions on them is to use them for personalized advertising, and many analysts believe that it will appear in smart columns very soon. Because the second way to commercialize voice assistants, including them in all sorts of gadgets, can fail. Since every day grows a cohort of refusers who do not want to be near constantly turned on microphones. But despite this, the trend for voice communication will continue to evolve. Perhaps in the future, we will forget what a keyboard is, at least on smartphones. The focus in 2020 will be on virtual and augmented reality technology. This is confirmed by the new team XR, Extended Reality or Advanced Reality. 3 promising applications are visualization assisted design, service and maintenance, as well as training and simulation. By the way, a significant reason for many consumers to buy gadgets for virtual reality in 2020 will be the reissue by Valve of a series of games like Half-Life, available exclusively to owners of its VR set. An unpleasant but inevitable trend is the use of artificial intelligence for cyber warfare.
That we have it with the future with robotics and artificial intelligence. But let me find out from you, Lydia and Jemima. How do you think that robotics and artificial intelligence can change the way we live, the way our business goes, the way our health, and also our environment? But let's start with business. How would AI and robotics change the way we do business in the world?
I personally think it would increase productivity. It would increase productivity a lot because, human beings as we are, we work with distractions, a lot of it, and sometimes it affects our output. Let me put it like that. But these robots work with no distractions. They do not get tired. So if a human being can work for, let's say, 6 hours in a day, a robot would go more. A robot can even go 10 hours. It doesn't get tired, right? It doesn't. So, with this feature of a robot, I think productivity would increase a lot. So if we can, let's say we are a biscuit manufacturing company and we are able to manufacture 20 boxes of biscuits in a day. With a robot, we can manufacture about 1,000 because it works efficiently and with speed as well.
Yeah. Adding to what Lydia is saying, I think it will also help to reduce human effort because someone, let me say, delivering a package to you on a motorbike, a human being coming to you with a delivery would actually, let's say, spend 30 minutes, an hour on the road. But a robot, or let me say a drone being sent to you to deliver your package to you would take less time to deliver your package to you. And also the risk in doing things in the sense that human beings, we don't have that energy that the robots have, because they have the metal properties, so they are very healthy, very strong, and can actually do more than what human beings do. And also, looking at the video, I saw a robot actually helping someone shop from a supermarket, taking the things, putting them in the shopping bag, and I think it's going to really help.
I don't think, this sparks a controversy, the human efforts. We're just taking our own selves out of work because we're bringing in robots. The war on job security, because we just undermined our effort. That we are prone to distractions, we are prone to mistakes and all that. But robots or robotics actually come in with much more effectiveness and efficiency. What happens to the human effort? Do we then relegate ourselves back home or put ourselves to unemployment? How is this affecting unemployment, or say employment, with the introduction of robots?
Oh, I personally think to some extent, although we do think that these robots are going to take our jobs away from us, to some extent, it would still create employment, because robots are nothing but toys. And toys can't operate on their own. It needs someone to monitor it. It needs someone to regulate it.
Artificial intelligence, which is really more very, instead of the ads, machines that can think, like what we have on our phones, the Siri, the Google Assistants, these can actually speak and think and share with you things that, you get surprised at how they can also give you all this information. So, are we really going to do this to ourselves as human beings, where we introduce so much robotics that really undermine and demean the effort of a human being, because robots can do more than we can do?
This would also lead me to ask you that what can we do? Because these robots are being produced day in and day out, and then in just a couple of years we are going to see these robots in our daily life.
But then the robots will not take our jobs completely, because they will still need us. Robots, I feel robots and humans work hand in hand. Because robots can, you have manufactured it, you have to regulate it. Without your regulation, I don't think the robot will actually work on its own like human beings. We don't need anyone to regulate us.
At the operational level, where you saw in a factory where people pack products and package, where robots are used to replace these human beings in packing because they're effective and they're efficient. What happens to these people?
I think we need to up our games as humans, because you can't live in this world with just one skill.
And we can't compete with robots as well.
Exactly. So we do the little that we can do in our own small way.
But I'm not sure the robots can also do everything, because they will have their limits just as human beings. So I think in stepping up our game, as Lydia said, we should also get involved in other things.
Exactly.
So that if the robots come in, we'll still have our hands working, not leaving all our work for the robots.
Perhaps when these robots comes in, it would take the jobs of those who haven't added any relevance to themselves.
Yeah.
If you've added relevance to yourself, the robot is there, yes, but then you would still
have
somewhere
something
else
to do.
But in a sense where you just have one thing on your hands, and then this robot is taking it away from you, then it becomes a problem.
Well, so it's up to everyone out there. We just can't do anything about it. But robotics and artificial intelligence is going to be with us this year and beyond.
Now, that is all for the news. And in wrapping up our headlines on higher education, education activists called to halt financial exclusions of university students. And again, advance science in Africa through open access journals.
And in our health news, African Union secures about 300 million COVID-19 vaccine, and also Moderna jump given green light by European Medicine Agency.
And in our science and technology, we brought you the year of robots and artificial intelligence, where everything we do gets much more smarter and faster. I must say a big thank you to you for spending time with us on the AAU TV Mid-Week News, and also kind Kirsty to GTB Textiles Ghana Limited for our fabrics.
And I must say that COVID-19 is still real, so do make sure you adhere to the safety protocols, wear your nose masks, you wash your hands, you use your sanitizers, and also exercise social distancing. My name is Lydia Nyame.
And I am Jimaima Daladem Duchi.
My name is Ajamo Shadako, and I need you to stay safe. See you next time. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.